Hello everyone, my name is Austin, and hey, today I will be talking to you about crafting gear and knowing what gear is good, what gear is bad, everything under the roof. We're gonna talk about gear in one fucking video. We're gonna talk about gear and all the aspects you need to know about gear in one video. For beginners, right? For beginners. So, what is gear and why is it important? So, gear is essentially, equipment, right? It's little pieces of clothing that you earn from, crafting, stuff from hunt. Like, for example, this stuff right here, this stuff, right? This is what we call gear, and they significantly boost your character's performance. Yeah, they significantly boost their stats, and they will make or break a character. I mean, something you'll hear a lot, right? Something you'll hear a lot from E7 veterans is that it's not about the characters that you get in this game. It's the gear that you get in this game that will change what, how your character, how you will play, right? And it'll how you will play and how certain things will interact, right? It's not the characters, it's the gear, right? The gear is the most important aspect of this game. So I might as well tell you everything you need to know about it and some tips, some tricks, and all that good stuff. So, how do you earn gear? Well, you earn gear by doing hunt, right? you earn gear by doing hunt. I mean, you can earn like gear from like outside of hunt, like arena. I don't know. You do like abyss, you get like some fucking crafting materials and stuff like that. Or you can go to like Labyrinth and earn some gear that way. But generally, hunt is where you get gear, right? Hunt is where you usually get gear. So in this case, I have 600 Abyss Drake claws. So we go over here. We can do like 10 crafting, right? We can craft like 10 pieces of equipment. I think. I'm pretty sure anyway. So if we go over here into crafting, and let's just craft. Let's craft a necklace, because I need a necklace right now. Currently, I need a necklace. So we'll craft like this, and yeah, here we go. Actually, this is a great example to talk about gear. So there are three rarities, right? There are three rarities of gear in this game, right? As I said earlier, gear is the most important aspect of this game, and there are three rarities to it. So you have rare. Right, rare gear. You have heroic gear, and you have epic gear. Right, you have epic gear. Those are the three rarities that you should think about whenever you're crafting gear. I know people in the comments, and I know people will probably give me a dislike for not mentioning normal and good gear, but you can't craft those, and this is a crafting video. So here's what I mean by normal and good gear. Good gear doesn't actually mean good gear. Good gear is epic gear, but there is a rarity called good gear. Looks like I don't have it. looks like I don't have it here, but it's good gear is good gear is below rare gear, and normal gear is normal gear is below good gear. So here's what I mean. So if you go into here, we're not gonna go. Okay, here we go. Right here. So this is normal dash good. You see that? Normal dash good. So that's what I mean by that's what I mean by normal and good gear, right? But you can't get those when crafting. So that's why I did not mention it earlier. So anyway, let's talk about substats, and let's talk about main stats. Let's talk about all that good stuff right now. So let's begin. Okay, so for the sword, right? The sword, the funny weapon here, the funny weapon of choice is the main stat will always be what is it? It will always be flat attack, right? It will always be flat attack. This is what we call left side gear, right? This is what we call left side gear. Yeah. As we call left side gear. And, to give you a little visual demonstration, to give you a little bit of visuals, this is what I mean by left side, right? Let's just pick a good character. Let's pick Carrick, actually. Let's pick Carrick because he's my best character, and, I might as well show you all the good stuff, right? So this is what I mean by left side gear, right? Left side, left side. There's the helmet. The helmet is flat HP always, right? Flat HP always. And the chest plate, right? The chest plate, the armor, is always it's always flat defense, right? It's always flat defense. Yeah. So it's always flat defense. And this is what we call the right side gear, right? Right side gear is these will always be random, right? These will always be random. In this scenario, though, this is a crit damage neck, and this is an attack percent ring, and these are speed boots. I'll explain more about right side a little bit. I'll explain right side later, but for now, let's talk about left side gear. So for left side gear, the main stats will always be consistent, so they're a bit easier to farm than right side, because the main stat will always be consistent. So whenever you're looking for good left side gear, right? Whenever you're looking for good left side, you mainly focus on the substats, right? You pick a good set you want. In this case, let's go for speed, right? Let's go for speed. You disregard all the crit sets, all the hit sets, all that funny shit. In this case, I can't find any particularly good gear here, but something that might be interesting to upgrade is perhaps this, right? Perhaps this. It's got a max speed roll, and I think it's got a max crit chance roll. I'm not too sure. But yeah, this is a heroic gear, and if I upgrade this, let's see how it'll roll here. Let's see how it'll roll. Okay, so it rolled 8% into crit chance. That's a high roll. That is a very, very high roll. Okay, well let's keep upgrading again. Let's upgrade again. Why not? And that was a low roll, right? That was a low roll. Like what? It was 5 and then 13, and now it's fucking 17. Nonetheless, though, we did roll 2 times into that stuff. Oh yeah, something to mention, right? So whenever you're upgrading heroic gear, right, it will always have 3 substats. Which means that because like what is it? All gear will have 4 substats at the end of its cycle, right? At the end of plus 15 cycle, right? Like for example, this will always have 4 substats. Do I have any heroic gear here? Here we go. This will always have 4 substats. This is not the best gear, so please don't pay attention to that. So you see here, this has three substats, right? This has 3 substats, and you're wondering, okay, so where's the 4th one coming in? The 4th one will always come in at plus 12. So here, look, this is already a pretty piece already. I guess it's good, if I'm lacking crit chance, but this is not a piece that I'm gonna be too excited about here. It's not gonna be a piece I'm too excited about, unless it gives me a good substat here. Let's see. Let's check this out. It gives me health. This is already not a flat HP too. Flat HP. So this is already a throwaway piece. But you get what I mean, right? You get what I mean. You get what I mean. So it will always be a plus 12, right? It will always be a plus 12. For rare gear, I wouldn't recommend upgrading rare gear. I know I have in the past. I know, boo-hoo. But I think it starts at plus 9. So you get to upgrade. Okay, so it'll be right. So here, let me explain it with my, funny verbal explanation. So you will, let's see. So you'll upgrade 2 times, right? So until plus 6, and then after that, plus 9 you'll get a substat. Plus 12 you get a substat. That way you get 4 substats, and then plus 15 it'll roll into something else. That's why you don't upgrade rare gear, right? Because like the plus 9 and the plus 12, you're already getting new substats, and those substats aren't necessarily the best. Heroic gear and epic gear are only worth upgrading. Epic gear is the best to upgrade because you don't get any new substats. the substats are already predetermined, right? The substats are already predetermined, right? Let's say I upgraded this. This is a shit piece, by the way. Maybe somebody has use for it, but I can't see anyone having use for it. So, but let's say someone were to upgrade this, the substats will never change. Whenever you're upgrading, it'll only roll into one of the 4 substats, which is why it's the best type of gear to roll, right? That's why it's the best type of gear to roll. I'm not gonna roll this piece. It's pretty bad. Like same with here, right? Like it will always roll into one of these 4. It's not gonna gain anything, which is why it's the best type. And yeah, that's basically left side gear, right? That is basically left side gear in a nutshell. Oh yeah. So how do you know if the gear is bad? How do you know if it's good? How do you know if it's all that? Well, thankfully, in the past, you would have to eyeball it and say, OMG, this gear is good, this gear is bad. But now that Smilegate has released a recent update, you'll be able to find out which gear is good just by the numeric number it has. So, for example, what do I mean by this? For example, this is the Forger Gear event, right? This is the Forger Gear event. This is the event that you get to have a free epic gear for free. All you have to do is grind a little bit and you get the free epic gear. And so basically, anything that is around 100 and above, that is considered fucking awesome, fucking amazing. It's gonna be one of your best pieces, right? Anything above 100 is good. Something like 84, 85 to 90 is considered pretty good. It's not the best. You could always go better, but it will be fine. It will be fine, right? It's usable gear. It's great. Let me find here. So this is like 80. 80 is like basically reaching it, basically. If you're going with 80, chances are, it's subpar, right? It's subpar. Let me just find a gear that does not have the best rolls here. So 77s, 82, it's all about the same. Here, let me go to one of my unbuilt characters. Okay, so something like this is awful, right? This is like anything below, I would say 70 is awful. This is considered fucking awful. This is horrible right here. This is back in the day when I was upgrading gear, and I did not know any better. I was desperate for an HP percent ring. I didn't give a shit about the substats, right? But yeah, this is considered an awful piece because it is below 70. I mean, actually, 70 is still bad. 70 is still... I'd say anything below 75 is pretty bad. Anything below 75 is pretty bad. So this is considered bad, too. So anything below 75, I would say, is pretty shit. Like, this is pretty bad. As you can see, like, it only rolled fucking HP flat and speed. And, like, this is pretty good. It could be better, but it's pretty good. This is obviously fucking amazing. Substat rolls and stuff like that. 86, 81, 81. So it's all pretty good gear. We could be doing better though. We could be doing a lot better, right? We could be doing a lot better. So you know what I mean? Like that's how you basically rate it. So in summary, right? In case you were just bored out of your fucking mind and you didn't like listen to anything what I said, anything below 75 is absolute shit. Anything around 75 to 90 is like pretty good, but could be much better. 90 to like 100 is like exceptional, and 100 and above is like fucking masterpiece, right? Fucking masterpiece. So now that we've talked about the left side gear, let's talk about the right side gear, right? Let's talk about the right side gear. So let's talk about it. Sorry for repeating myself. It's just, I don't do scripts anyway. So right side gear is random, right? It is much more difficult to grind for right side gear than left side gear, because of the aspect of, in left side gear you have to worry about the substats, right? You have to worry about the substats, but for right side gear you have to worry about substats and the main stat, right? I've already explained to you the equipment score. I've already explained to you all that stuff, but let's explain to you the main difference between right side and left side. So let's see. Neck has the possibility to roll anything except effectiveness, and effectiveness, F-res, and speed, I believe. It can have any stat besides those three, right? As far as I can tell, I've never seen an effectiveness, neck, F-res neck, or speed neck. That's just not possible, right? That's just not possible. Everything else, I think, is you're allowed to have. You're allowed to have that. And for let's see, this gem right here for this fucking ring, you can have every single main stat except for crit damage and crit chance and speed. You can have any stat under the roof except for those three, right? So to recap, anything for the main stat except for F-res, F, and speed. For the ring, anything except for crit damage. Anything for crit damage, the crit chance, and speed. And for boots, you can have anything except for these above, right? For these above. So you're allowed to have speed, but you're not allowed to have effectiveness, I don't think. You're not allowed to have effectiveness, crit damage, crit chance, F-res. But you can have everything else. Alright, you can have everything else. So, with that being said, right side is going to be extremely difficult. Besides, like, the exclusionary stats that you cannot have on each particular right side, in general, right side is going to be just one hell of an RNG mess. So, what pieces do I recommend you get for right side, right? Well, it depends on the character that you're building. Well, left side is pretty easy to gauge to see, left side, these has high HP substats, so give the left side piece to, let's say, a tanky unit, like maybe a Ravi or something. But for right side piece, generally for all purposes, crit damage necks and attack necks are good for DPSs, right? DPSs, characters that are supposed to do damage. Having those type of necks are good. What do I mean by this? So most characters they have a crit chance and crit damage. Crit damage here and crit chance here. Most characters deal damage with the crit chance, crit damage thing. They still need attack, of course, but the attack is just part of it, right? The attack is part of it, and this is where the true source of damage comes in. So, in that case, if the character can crit, you'll always want a crit damage neck. There are some people, right? There are some people, especially people in my fucking Discord, they're always talking about OMG, crit chance necks are actually 10% better or some shit. Like 10% better, like, okay, fine, whatever. Let's say that was true, right? Let's say that was true. Let's say crit chance necks are like, crit chance necks are like 10% better. Sure, whatever. You're gonna still have to somehow make up the crit damage. You're gonna have to somehow make up the crit damage from the substats, right? Because you cannot have crit damage rings or whatever the fuck. You're gonna have to have high crit damage rolls on all 5 of these pieces, and that's gonna be like fucking tough, dude. That's gonna be tough as hell. That's why I recommend crit damage necks. I don't see a world where crit chance necks work. And for, let's say, the attack percent necks, it's for the characters that cannot crit. You'll see like Hua Young. You'll see not Leaf, because Leaf doesn't do. Leaf is damage dealer, but her thing is from HP. But we're gonna talk about HP later. But Samurai Syria, Hua Young, Arunka, I think. Arunka. Characters that deal damage based off their attack, but they cannot crit. And then last is probably going to be HP, right? HP. I can see that happening, right? HP. Yeah, HP. Well, HP is, let's see. Yeah, you go for bruisery characters, right? Bruisery characters. Tanky characters, HP percent is usually the way to go. Right, usually the way to go. Usually, right? It's usually the best way to go. Yeah, it's usually the best way to go. And yeah, I think that's about it, right? So you have attack percent, crit damage, and HP percent. As far as I can tell, I have yet to see any other other pieces. I think those are the three acceptable next. If you're running a defense character, right? Somebody that needs defense to deal damage, right? That could be acceptable as well, a defense neck, but that's very niche. In general, though, HP, crit damage, and attack percent is all you need. But there will be some defense scalers, and in that case, I could see it happening. Defense is pretty common though, so chances are, like, even if you're running a defense scaler, you still want a crit damage neck because you can put defense on your ring, right? But you could put defense on here as well if you have, let's say 4 or 5, I guess, good defense rolls. So like having a defense neck is okay, I guess, but defense percent, I guess, but you still want a crit damage neck because you can always roll defense here. And same with like HP, right? If the character's dealing damage off HP. Actually no, Leith is a bad example. Oh, we don't have a character that, as far as I can tell, is a defense scaler, but they cannot crit. Yeah, we don't have that. So usually you have a crit damage that, but we do have HP scalers that can't crit, and we have characters that, attack scalers but can't crit. So yeah, if they can't crit, don't run this and run their scale, right? Run their scale. Otherwise, if they scale and they can crit, put the extra scaling into here. Alright. I'm sorry I confused myself. But hey, we're good now. We're Gucci. We're Gucci. So, as I explained earlier with rings, very flexible compared to this. Anything they scale with is good, right? So, Kyric, you can't have crit damage, crit chance in here. So, go with attack, because, the more attack you have, the more the crit chance and the crit damage will have more value into him. And this is, let's say, Lurmia, for example. She can crit, and also she's a defense scaler, so have this defense instead. Let's say this is a Ravi, have HP percent here, have crit damage here, and have a high attack roll here, right? Have high HP roll here. High HP roll onto her crit damage neck. All that good stuff, right? All that good stuff. This is a much more flexible piece of gear than, let's say, this neck. Just anything under the roof, right? Anything under the roof. This is like the scale piece, essentially. This is the scale piece, and this, pick the stat that works best for that particular character. Yeah, most units will probably be running attack percent, and for openers, you always want to run effectiveness. And for cleansers, you're always going to want to run F-Res, unless that opener happens to be Emil Carrick, or other, like, I guess, cleansers that don't need ER. If you're running cleansers that don't run ER, run the next available best scale ring, I suppose, right? But for cleansers that do need ER, for those, run F-Res is fine too. And anyway, last but not least, are boots. Boots, you're going to want to run speed, primarily for most situations, right? For most situations, speed is overall the best universal, right? Best universal stat. In some scenarios, I can see you running a attack percent for, let's say, Kayron right here. Let's see my boy Kayron, where you want him to be as slow as possible, and no speed is required, right? No speed is necessary. But for, like, I don't know, units that are like Kayron, where they have to never take a turn. Right? In that case, no, like, just run whatever scale, right? Charon scales off his, I think his proportion to lost health, but he does most of his damage from his attack, or damage, all that good stuff, right? We all know this. But for characters like, let's say, Shu, right? Chokes, what as I like to call it. Those characters that they should be on counter set, but they should at least take a turn every once in a while, right? They should take a turn every once in a while. For those type of characters, you're going to want to run speed boots on them, even though they're on counter set, because you do want them to take a turn at least like a couple times, right? At least a couple times. So speed boots overall is just in general. I don't have much to say. Obviously check the substats, check that stuff, and make sure that make sure the substats work for that particular build, that particular character, stuff like that, right? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But in general, speed boots will always be good. Yeah. Let's see. Let's explain some more other stuff here. We're not gonna explain exclusive equipment that's now part of gear, and we're not gonna explain artifacts because artifacts is something else. As you can see here, I'm building Leica currently at the moment. We could talk about Reforge, actually. Which pieces would deserve Reforge, what pieces don't. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So a big part of gear, right? A big part of gear is reforging, right? Reforging. Any gear that is level 85 and only 85 can be eligible for a reforge of up to 90. Any gear that's like level 78, level 75, level 80, level 88, they're not available for reforge. So for example, this gear is 85, it used to be 85, and this gear is 88, which means I can't reforge it, but this gear right here is reforgeable, and this gear is reforgeable. So, yeah. What counts as a good gear to reforge? Well, it's basically the same things that I talked about, where you have to base it off of gear score, right? So I would say, if you have higher standards in life, I would say somewhere around like 85 and above is worth reforging. But if you're not too picky like myself, right? If you're not too picky, I would say around 75 or 80 is a good piece to reforge, right? But if you have higher standards for yourself, I would say anything above 85 and above is probably worth reforging, right? Probably worth reforging. Some purists out there, some people out there will only be like, oh my god, only gear that's like 90 and above is worth reforging. But for me, that's gonna be difficult to get. Level like gear score 90 and somehow able to be reforged. That's like really rare for me. I really doubt I can get like that type of gear to reforge. But there are people out there that are really, really picky about that. But I'm just saying, in my preference, around maybe 75 or 80 is good. And I would say, okay, if you have a nice like 82 or 85 piece or 83, whatever, somewhere around that ballpark, that's worth reforging as well. So yeah, that is basically the gear guide. That is how you upgrade. That is how you craft gear. That is how you decide which gear is good, which gear is not. I've explained everything, and hopefully you guys understand. My name's been Austin, right? My name's been Austin, and thank you so much for hopping by. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate y'all very much, right? So much. Please check out the Twitch. I'll link it in the description down below. I'll probably be streaming E7 or some shit. Otherwise, yeah, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!